Hello, one and all, and welcome to the 161st episode of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, recorded on October 17th, 2021. On the podcast today, we have the most dedicated song title hunter on the planet, Ryan Holtz.
I thought it was going to be Andrew.
Oh.
Found the song.
No, Ryan's the most dedicated.
Yes.
I'm the best. Just out of
good.
raw skill. I am the best. Ryan's put the most practice into it, though.
Pure talent versus a student of the game, you know? Both are admirable in their own right. Yeah. Also on the podcast today, we have the man who anime is especially for, Andrew Clark.
As you all are aware, I am, out of the three of us, I'd say, not even questionable that I'm the biggest anime fan. Mm-hmm. I think it's been known for the 3+ years we've been doing this podcast that anime guy, you got a question about anime? Go to me, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas came up with this one in the car on his drive home. He spoiled that to me. So, yeah, I got ones for us. I need to get one for Andrew.
Jesus.
So
Thank you.
I know, it's kind of good to get insight into that. I honestly kind of thought that Lucas came up with them on the spot.
Some weeks I'm by the seat of my pants, but no, I had mine and Ryan's locked in, and I'm like, let's go with the Twitter, the nice Twitter interaction Andrew and I had earlier this week. And thank you again for liking my tweet, announcing my new job. I appreciate that.
Happy for you, man.
Yeah. And that man is me, Lucas the Writer. And I answered a prompt on TikTok the other night that asked me what my age was so they can better serve me content. And I am very interested to see how that affects my For You page.
He's an old... Literally like, what? 26? Can we delete his account right now? I don't know what we're going to serve this guy. There
are some MILFs and DILFs on TikTok now. It is disseminated. Zoomers definitely built it up, but now it's for all hot people. And as one of the hot people, I think I am accepted with open arms on that platform.
There's MILF and DILF content creators.
Yeah.
Not really users. Are you putting yourself on camera a lot on TikTok? And I'm just not aware of it?
Are you a dad?
You just have a normie, like you're just doing like dances, like following the trends.
So there are a couple different ways I could possibly answer this. No, I'm not a dad. I have been referred to as a daddy before in some contexts. But also, no, Ryan, I am infrequently putting myself on TikTok, but I have been doing a daily manga review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm posting 5 TikTok videos a day, even if I'm not exactly the focus of them.
That's a lot of content.
Or 5 a week. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
5 a week. 5 a week.
That's better.
Yeah.
Or worse. I don't know. Depends on what the algorithm looks at.
Mm-hmm. It's by no means popular. I rarely do these videos break 200 views, 200 plays, but, it's for me. That's why I'm doing it. For me.
You found your audience.
Yeah. That was weird. That was weird when I opened TikTok one day, and it's like, you have 38 likes, and somebody had just gone through my page, liked every one of my videos, and then followed me.
Was that Ryan's mom?
I wish.
Did you figure out who it was?
Just a random user.
Oh, with no videos?
Yeah. Just somebody into JoJo's TikTok, I guess.
It was that guy that was the Final Space stand.
Final Space.
He had to move on.
I think he just doesn't know it. Like he doesn't realize this is the same Lucas. He's just like, oh shit, this dude's lit. He loves JoJo's. I think I'd align with this guy's opinions on everything.
Maybe I can even get him in the final space and we can take down that other fucking asshole.
You could team up with me against Lucas DeRuyter, that fuckhead who doesn't like the new season of Final Space.
I'm a big fan of this Elder guy. He seems like he would hate Lucas DeRuyter just as much as I do.
So it just goes to show how little sense YouTube makes. That Final Space video I made 2 months ago, 35 views on YouTube. That Jackie Daytona video I made 8 months ago, just under 30K.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a big difference.
Why do you think that makes little sense? I'm curious.
Why is it such a wide disparity?
Do you want an answer?
I mean, if you think the Final Space video is shit, like, you can tell me.
I don't like Final Space, so I don't know what you're talking about in the first off, but, like, definitely What We Do in the Shadows is way more mainstream than Final Space. Like, just in terms of pure audience, like, What We Do in the Shadows might have literally 10 times as many people following it.
Even regardless of the number of people that watch those shows being different, like, they're not similar shows. They probably have very different demographic audiences. So, like, let's say the people that watched your Jackie Daytona video then get recommended your other videos because they watched that first one. They might not watch. They might have any interest in Final Space and then not watch it.
I think I disagree with you, Andrew. You tried and stopped watching both of those shows. They're basically the same thing.
Yeah, someone who dislikes two things must like also the same things? What?
They must be the same.
Yeah. You can only dislike one kind of thing.
I dislike black licorice and Republicans. They're
the same.
They are the same.
I mean, if somebody walked up to me and said, so, like, when you think about it, Republicans are like the black licorice of politicians, I wouldn't say they're wrong. I would think that's an odd opinion to have, but I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. If someone said, I'll give you a black licorice candy or a Republican, I don't know what I'd want.
Yeah.
Both of those things don't sound pleasant. I'd rather not have either of those things in front of me right now if I had a choice.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to tell you, viewers, you don't get a choice about what's in front of you right now because it's going to be News of the Week. We're bringing Fortnite news back. Does that feel good? Getting back to our roots? Yeah! Fortnite.
We like Fortnite.
Did the bot finally pick up? We get to move on with the rest of the show?
We do, and that involves saying Epic teases a collaboration with the developer of Among Us rather than just ripping off the game whole cloth, like they did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Fortnite and Among Us collaboration going to be just as cool as the Fortnite and Balenciaga collaboration?
Possibly. I'm not very familiar with that collaboration, but I imagine this Fortnite Among Us collaboration, they put the Fortnite beans, I guess. Yeah, they're basically beans. No, they put the Among Us beans into Fortnite. Make them Fortnite beans, and they look identical, except now they have giant asses. That's it. Only change.
Wouldn't their hitbox be like fucking huge?
I mean, no huger than the other characters in Fortnite.
I forgot about Chun-Li.
How? How could you forget that?
Reasons. Yeah. Have they ever credited, like, PUBG?
No.
No?
Okay. Absolutely not. They never credited Apex Legends when they ripped off all the good mechanics from that game. I think this one was just so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
Especially since they called it they called it imposter mode, which the bad guy in Fortnite is called imposter. So, yeah. I mean, all those other things are like also just as obvious, but it's like Fortnite didn't invent, or PUBG didn't invent battle royale or like first person shooters, even though Fortnite's clearly ripping off their shit, and like Apex
PUBG
Legends
did invent battle royale. I hate to say this. At the very least, PlayerUnknown invented the battle royale genre of video.
No,
game.
didn't we talk about this? There was that oh god, what was it called? It was like not a shooter, it was like a melee fighter game, but smaller battle royale. The Culling. It was called The Culling.
When did
I'm
that
gonna
come
say
out?
Definitely before PUBG.
Before PUBG, but PlayerUnknown invented the DayZ mod that was PUBG, like pre-PUBG, and then they made it a standalone.
Okay.
That I can't remember what that was called. It was DayZ something, DayZ Survival or something like that. Yeah, that was before The Culling.
I'm gonna
Culling
go
was
out on a
360.
limb and say that Mario Kart 64 Battle Mode was the first battle royale game. Yeah. I'm gonna stand by that.
I'm agreeing with you guys. Like, I'm saying that Fortnite definitely ripped off all of those games and pretty blatantly, but I think there are some pretty easy, like, outs that they have. Like, oh, you didn't invent video games. You didn't invent
You can always go
source
farther
code.
back.
Like, all that kind of shit. But, like, the Fortnite, or the Among Us ripoff was maybe a little too obvious.
He is best known for his work on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and is credited with the creation of the Battle Royale genre of video games, defined by large-scale conflict where players fight to be the last one standing in a constantly shrinking arena. Yeah,
No,
he
I've got constantly shrinking arena.
Yeah, it was he created the DayZ mod for Arma 2, and then that basically was DayZ Battle Royale, based on the movie from Japan, and then PUBG was the standalone version of that to kind of be like, what if we did do this?
That sounds like this is ripping off Hunger Games.
No, it was ripping off Battle Royale, the Japanese movie, but first
No.
ever video game to do it.
No,
And that ripped
not
off
that
the
one.
Divergent books. Come on.
I don't even know those. Oh boy.
Lucky.
Apparently.
You are lucky.
I mean, the concept of the Battle Royales probably happened, right? Like in real life. At some point in
The
human
fucking
history,
gladiator tournaments.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
10 people put in a shrinking arena until one was left standing. Like, so yeah, I guess we're ripping that off. Whoever came up with that concept.
Yeah, check Elon Musk's island.
Bigot Jon Gruden will be replaced by a generic likeness in Madden 22.
Yay.
Yay.
Now there'll be two teams coached by dudes.
Well, what's the other one?
Bill
The
Belichick
Patriots.
won't let his likeness be in Madden.
Oh my
Belichick
God.
has been a generic person for like decades in Madden.
Just a random skinny white guy with glasses.
So the opposite of Bill Belichick. He makes ad appearances, though. Why wouldn't he be cool with this?
It's negotiated through the coaches union,
Mm-hmm.
and he negotiates independently from the coaches union for like his likeness and everything like that.
That's right.
He's chosen to not participate in the collective bargaining of like the coaches union in regards to like the same way that Michael Jordan did it back in the day, where he was like, no, you can't put me in your games. You have to buy my likeness separately. Or Barry Bonds did that too, I remember. There's this dude named John Dowd in MVP Baseball 2005 who was on the Giants. Just a fucking god. But he was just this white dude. That was Barry Bonds. It was strange. So, yep. So here's number 2.
Yeah.
And usually they do not do this. Like,
Oh.
When coaches get fired mid-season, they are still
The
on the
coach.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Bill O'Brien is still the coach of the Texans in mine and Andrew's dynasty, and we're like 11 years in the future. Meanwhile, he got fired
like 5 weeks into the season. Yeah.
So there you go.
I don't know, this is a little bit of a tangent, but do you think Urban Meyer getting a win is going to save his professional football career?
It's not going to save it.
In the short term.
Yeah. Like
he would buy him a week or two.
Yeah, like he was if they lose this game, he's a couple more losses away from getting fired. Now I think they might let him finish out the season. Maybe. It depends on how badly they lose the rest of the games that they lose, which will be most of them.
If there's another distraction.
Yeah.
If we find a video of him tonight fucking hitting the pubs, like
they dig up some of his emails from Ohio State and Florida.
Yeah.
Although, if anybody's good at hiding Ohio State emails, it's Urban Meyer. So, he might be okay.
Well,
I can imagine his defense there would just be like, this is already public knowledge. You already knew this about me. Why is this a big deal now? You knew I covered up rape and beatings. Like, I did that. We're all aware. Don't fire me over it.
Your Honor, I already successfully hid my correspondences for one investigation into my conduct. To hold me to those recently discovered conversations, double jeopardy. Doesn't count. This is a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah. Urban Meyer just declares double jeopardy just on separate crimes. Look, I was found guilty of drunk driving 4 times between 1990 and 2004. I really don't think you should charge me with this 5th one.
I had Aaron Rodgers record him saying double jeopardy. I think I'm in the clear. Speaking of people and companies, organizations being in hot water, though, if you want to play Nintendo 64 games on your Switch, it'll cost $50 a year, more than double the base cost of $20 a year for baseline Nintendo Switch Online.
That is on the same level of being a racist, a sexist, and a homophobe.
People on Twitter were acting like it. And
wait, just 50? That's like...
Yeah.
Still less than PSN and Xbox Live.
Yeah.
And like, I think people maybe forgot that it's a year. Because if it were $50 a month, that would be ridiculous. $20 a month would be like... still exorbitant, but understandable. No, it's $20 a year and then $50 a year less if you go through a family plan. Like,
What do you get every N64 game, or?
You get the hits right now. So
it's like 10 games or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in the link. I don't remember offhand. But then also, weirdly enough, some Sega Genesis games. So, yeah, that's cool. Dr. Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Mario Tennis. One of these things is not like the other. Sin and Punishment.
That sounds pretty kinky.
Yeah.
What is that game?
Look it up. Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Win Back, Covert Operations, and Yoshi's Story.
It's a rail shooter?
Yeah. Released only in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, just the hits.
Kind of want to play this now.
Oh boy. Uses both the D-pad and the control stick on the N64 controller.
Ooh.
Allowing players to maneuver the character while simultaneously aiming the targeting reticle.
Innovative.
So it's like a shitty FPS. Like, it's a rail shooter trying to be an FPS, but not quite doing it. Like, that sounds fucking awful.
This was a big deal in like 1997.
It wasn't. Like, GoldenEye fucking exists. This game came out in 2000. Like,
yeah.
GoldenEye, like, Time Splitters, like,
Doom.
there were FPS games.
Yeah.
And they were just like, what if? And this is crazy. What if it was a rail shooter where you can move your character?
But then you're not on rails.
I think you still are.
Oh.
I think it's still taking you from like spot to spot, but you can move in a little 5-foot radius.
Boy. You can pivot your character.
Yeah, you can move left or right and maybe take a step forward or back. Probably not.
I think that's the difference.
Okay, what if this is an FPS, but your character has a basketball, and when you stop dribbling, they have to pick a foot and can only pivot off of that foot?
Yeah.
Basketball first-person shooter. Kind of sounds lit, gonna be honest.
Any devout game developer listeners, hit us up about this. We can make this happen.
It is reminding me of how fucked the N64 controller was. Like,
yep.
What were they thinking? They're showing the default hand placement is in that middle, like, grip.
And what's even the point of the left
grip
side of the grip?
Mm-hmm.
It's the arrows, the directional pads,
right,
which now were used in this Sin and Punishment
which
game,
means
so
you had to hold on the other side. Just whatever way you hold the controller, there's an entire third of it that is not accessible.
What the fuck were they thinking, man?
Granted, I was a toddler when I played most N64 games, but I seem to recall most games for that platform not using all the buttons.
Yeah,
so,
exactly, because it's
more
impossible to use all of them.
Literally, what's the point? This is a solved problem, by this point.
Oof.
The SNES controller was fine. Any of those would have been better than that shit.
All right, moving into TV. Wow, this is actually developed from the last time I posted it. With a 1,000-strong employee walkout upcoming, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos uses some...
Sarandos.
Oh, boy. Sarandos. I mistyped that. Ted Sarandos is the person we are all mad at. I'm sorry. Uses some bizarre reasoning to defend Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special, basically saying media doesn't impact the world, but then also fired a black trans pregnant employee who was organizing said walkout. So, not a great look. Not a great look, Ted.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're going on Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle, they just, I don't know if I brought that up in the podcast, but they just like backed Dave Chappelle hard in his struggles against Viacom. So like, yeah, now they're just like, well, we're in this guy's boat.
Yeah.
Forever.
Although, I think this is his last special they had on contract, right?
I don't know.
Regardless,
like they spent a lot of political capital to get on his good side for this and future specials.
Mm-hmm.
And not so much.
I just read the email. What the fuck? Here's the thing. CEOs don't write their own correspondence. They don't. They have their PR team do it. Yeah, no, they definitely approve it. Who wrote this? Sarandos is definitely guilty. He approved it. He stamped his name on it.
Maybe PR was like, we need to not be on Dave Chappelle's side here. And he was like, we're going to be on Dave Chappelle's side. And they were like, I don't know how to write that. And so he did just write his own correspondent. Like, you don't know, man. It's pretty wild. Yeah, I love the violence. He's comparing it to like how violence on screen has gone up, but yet violence is going down. So therefore, ipso facto, what happens on screen has nothing to do with the real world.
Hate speech is never translated into actual physical hate acts being committed.
Yeah. Literally never.
And of course, this is all following them editing episodes of 13 Reasons Why, because it did cause an uptick in teen suicide and had a tangible real-world impact.
This will not be the last title that causes some of you to wonder if you can still love Netflix. I sincerely hope that you can.
What?
That's how he signed off his email. Like, basically, we're gonna fuck up in the future, too. I hope you're still chill after that.
That's such, like, a shitty boyfriend defense. That's like, hey, babe, sorry I punched a hole in your apartment's wall while I was drunk. Like, that's just how it is when you roll with me.
Maybe don't let me do that, babe. Why'd you let me do that? You're just as much to blame.
You got me real angry.
Babe, no, it's okay. I forgive you.
If we break up because of this, maybe you never loved me at all. Frustrating.
What do you mean I have trouble controlling my anger? I played plenty of shooter games and I've never shot you. No matter how many times I fucking wanted to.
Fucking hell. IATSE strike averted?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fill me in.
Coming back to work, baby. They got most of what they asked for. It seems like there's some discord, but the problem is that the strike authorization vote is, like the deal to ratify is a lot lower, or the threshold to ratify the new agreement is a lot lower than the threshold to strike. So they're going to need a lot less support to ratify this agreement because the union leadership is behind it. Yeah, but sounds like strike averted, at least in the near future, and they've arrived at a deal which will hopefully improve working conditions amongst the lowest end of the production ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it was getting pretty fucked up in there, man.
But yet
backsliding.
But yet somehow still won't benefit the people on the lowest end of the production ladder that I know for some reason.
That's IATSE's fault.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but can maybe you explain this to me? Why aren't PAs part of the IATSE union? Is it because they're, like, technically part of the, like, executive team or whatever? Or what?
No. It's because I would say by and large they probably view PAs as like a transient, like basically like an intern. They don't view PAs as like a working professional, like comrade in arms, even though they totally are in the modern production landscape. Like they are 100% a member of the crew that sticks with the show and is trying to like rise up the like through the ranks of the production team and stuff. So
just like anyone else,
they view it as like they're day laborers. They're here to get their feet wet. They're not professionals. Like,
it's also my understanding, like most people who eventually transition to other parts of production start as PAs. So there's kind of a culture of viewing it as this is a paying your dues position. It's supposed to be shitty. Because we all went through that.
You're supposed to work crazy hours and not get any fucking money.
I would say PAs is more of like a direct line to kind of the more like borderline above the line type jobs. Like by and large, most PAs they're gonna be looking for something more in like writing or directing or kind of actual higher up positions in the production. Yeah, I would say that if you were specifically looking to be like a grip or something like that, that would be more of like an apprenticeship directly with the grip department. Like you'd be working with someone who is a professional grip as their apprentice, basically, and like learning the ropes that way, because that's a more like specific type of gig than PA, which is a very generic, do everything type job.
I do not know offhand if apprentices are affected by the changing terms that came from threatening the strike. So
probably, yeah.
I hope.
I'd imagine, because they're probably employed directly under the member of IATSE. So there you go.
Good. More people unionize. Do it. Uh-oh. Did I maybe disconnect? Uh-oh. Oh no, I'm back.
Hey.
You're back.
I'm back and ready to talk about some memes, if we have any.
The memes.
What do we got?
I fucking own you. I still own you.
I still own you.
It is pretty funny. The only meme that I've been seeing over the last couple of days has been the like evil musicians.
Yeah, evil everyone.
Yeah, evil everyone, but like I've mostly seen musicians, but just like a photo negative of like a group of people or a person and then saying something that's like the opposite of a famous lyric or saying. So the one I just saw like right before the podcast started was evil Daniel Craig be like, ladies and gentlemen, the weekday. Or evil Beach Boys be like, wouldn't it be horrible? It's not really funny, but it is kind of funny.
These are bad.
Yeah.
What?
I think that's
these are like early aughts.
Yeah, no, I think that's the point. I think we've come full circle. Like they're not funny, but them not being funny is what makes them funny.
I haven't seen a single one that's funny. Oh. Yikes.
No, again, they're not doing anything clever. It's just a photo negative and then taking the opposite of something that they say. And that's it. It's the whole thing. Don't you fucking get it, bro? It's so fucking funny. No, bro, just look at a couple more. They're so funny, bro.
I would assume this is like a 2008 meme. That is like it's literally a macro. Like it's
no, it is.
It's
100%.
an image with text on it.
I'm serious. I think we've come full circle.
We have 100% moved past this format. This is old shit. Where did it start from? October 9th, Beach Boys meme. Oh, it came from iFunny?
Yeah, makes sense.
Wow.
iFunny still has users?
What?
Oh,
no, it absolutely has users. Tons of people use iFunny. We are not in the circle of the majority in this society. You have to come to grips with that.
iFunny is not more prevalent than Twitter and Reddit.
No.
TikTok.
Tons of people still use it though.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say iFunny's relatively irrelevant, and it's surprising that they're
Guess not.
still creating things. Guess not. This is like the shittiest meme I've seen.
It's bad, but it is
decade.
still everywhere.
Well, I'm sorry. You don't have any kind of like fondness or nostalgia for the shittiness?
No.
Oh.
This is garbage.
Oh.
We've moved past this as a society. It's real bad. It's the Fred of memes. Like, yeah, Fred was big at one point.
Racism, poverty, macro text memes. We've collectively moved past all of those things as a society.
Like, yeah, it's bad, man. It's real bad. Oh, wow.
Now I gotta find a modern meme to compare this to see if you really think, oh yeah, this is better.
Yeah, most of the stuff in our top memes of the decade, almost all of it's better than this. There are not many memes that are worse than this meme in that top memes of the decade list, which I can find.
Do you think Bowsette is better than this meme?
Yes. And I'd argue that
Take that
Bowsette's stretching the definition of a meme already.
Yeah.
But 100% Bowsette is better than this meme.
But
Bowsette is kind of funny. Like,
making a little W column and giving myself a tally
we
there.
gave Bowsette, like, what? A 5 each? What did we give Bowsette?
Oh,
A 4 and a 3. We gave it not a 1.
oh
Like,
okay. No, I'm sorry. I confused that with, is that a motherfucking JoJo's reference where I single-handedly upped that to to like a mid-tier position.
Yeah, it's because you gave it a 10. I think we both gave it 1s, right?
Yeah. You gave JoJo an 8. I gave it a 3. You gave it a 2. Mm-hmm. And then Bowsette, you definitely dragged more to the top because you gave it a 10.
Nah. You gave that a 10?
Yeah.
I forgot that. I thought you just gave it like an 8 or 9.
You rediscover this all the time.
It's so ridiculous. It's so
Lucas
ridiculous.
Gave 4 memes, 10 out of 10. Harambe, Press F to Pay Respects, Steamed Hams, and Bowsette. All above This Is Fine, Distracted Boyfriend, fucking Galaxy Brain, Surprised Pikachu, Drake posting, fucking Virgin versus Chad. Like, Virgin versus Chad memes are still
it's been
big in 2021.
No, that's just a format now, yeah.
So you'd be higher on Virgin versus Chad at this point?
What did I give it?
You gave it an 8. But it's below fucking Bowsette.
No, yeah, it deserves to be below Bowsette. I'd maybe give Virgin versus Chad a 9 now. If only because, oh boy, that has become such a framework practically for examining aspects of culture.
Yeah. Nick Cage is everyone. That's yeah, sure. That's worse than this one.
Okay.
Derpy Hooves. Yeah, that's worse than this one. Mo Anthropomorphism is worse than this one. I'd say Bane posting is better. The Lord Marquand E is better. Gamers Rise Up is better. Like, all of these are better, man.
Damn.
Oh, well. I love who else is in here? Chameleon. This is an all-time episode, huh? Memes of the decade. If this podcast dies within the next decade, we absolutely need to have a pact that we're coming back.
Yeah, bring back for one more time
to do one last meme of the decade episode.
None of us are allowed to die before 2030, I think is what we're saying.
No promises.
No promises.
Yeah, that's the only big meme I can think of offhandedly. So, all right. I guess we're going into the breakouts? Maybe? Sure? Okay. Metroid Dread is pretty rad.
That's good. How much was it?
$60.
Fun.
Is there more to that? Like,
I don't know.
That's the price of a video game.
Most Switch games feel like they need to be like $20-$30, and then
wow.
Find out that they're 60, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel like that can be the case for some other consoles too. The Switch, because there's a lot more like lower budget and lower fidelity games, like I feel like that's more often than other consoles, but Switch games are still video games. Like, yeah. Metroid Dread is, I haven't played it. I've never played a Metroid game. I have no affinity, but Metroid Dread is a first party AAA video game. Mm-hmm. And like that is the end of a long-running, beloved, historic video game franchise. I don't think paying $60 for it is ridiculous, unless it's like 10 hours long.
How long is it?
So I've definitely put about 10 hours into it. I think you can speed run it.
Average playtime.
I don't know. Actually, I haven't beaten it yet. Let's go Metroid.
The main story is 8 hours 9 minutes.
Whoa.
Okay, that's really short.
I'm telling you, man.
It has a lot of replayability. It was designed to be replayed.
But that's not relevant in terms of average playtime. Plenty of games that have 50 hours of playtime have plenty of replayability. Like, how long was Hades?
Okay, Hades is technically as long as you want it to be.
Exactly.
Which, like, Metroid Dread could be 2. I don't know. Resident Evil 8 was like, what, Andrew? 16 hours? 20? Yeah.
I would say that's pushing it. Resident Evil 8 is another game where I'd be like, really, $60 for that?
No, 70.
Oh yeah, fuck.
I don't know how much you pay for it, Lucas.
I think the big deal is that there's just no online multiplayer. It's the story. You're there for the story, and if the story's not Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey or some crazy shit like that, it's like, why is this game that expensive?
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to table this regular discussion. Is the Mario Odyssey story like really good? I've never played. I've never heard anything about it. You were just like, if it's not Breath of the Wild, which is one of the highest regarded video games of all time, or Mario Odyssey, I've heard nothing about Mario.
Also, definitely one of them.
Is it? I've heard nothing about it.
It's one of the big Switch games. Well, I am sure I've talked to you about Mario Odyssey. It's
other than Bowsette, which I don't know if that's in Mario Odyssey or not.
I think that's Odyssey.
Okay, then take that away. The weird New York people that are regular ass humans.
New Donk City, yeah.
New Donk City is
huge part of the game.
No, I'm just saying
Mario
that's
Odyssey
the only thing I've heard about it is that hey, there's regular humans in this universe.
When you look back at the biggest games of the Switch console, Mario Odyssey is 100% top 5.
I'm not arguing. I'm saying I know nothing about this game. And you're saying that it's really good.
I know nothing about Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So
and when I say story, I guess maybe I'm just saying I'm using that as a substitute for it's a single player experience.
Okay.
Like the overall experience of just playing by yourself. Like, yeah, I'm sure it's not as beautifully woven of a plot as Last of Us, but like, yeah, it's a functional story that people really enjoy, and it's absolutely going to be looked upon as one of the most beloved games of its like era.
So TLDR, the experience of Super Mario Odyssey. Bowser captures the princess, like he does. Mario maybe dies. It's weird.
Yeah.
He ends up in a ghost world, and then a ghost that's a hat either possesses him or his hat. I don't know. Mario's hat is basically like Mario's soul, right? So that's weird. He comes back to life, and then he has to go on a globe-trotting adventure to save the princess, which, involves going to New Donk City, a really cool, Aztec, also Mexico world, a couple of lakes, fight a bunch of evil rabbits. And then it ascends a globe-trotting adventure because Mario goes to the moon, which I think automatically makes this better than Death Stranding. Because that's what everyone wanted in Death Stranding, and that never happened. I'm having connection issues today, and I apologize for that. Why am I off of the 5G? What's going on here?
5G?
Yeah.
Aren't you on Wi-Fi or Ethernet?
When he says 5G, he means 5 gigahertz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Lucas was using his cell phone as like a hotspot.
Oh.
I was doing that at my house earlier today.
So Super Mario Odyssey is fantastic, but
when I'm looking at this, by the way, number 1, this is IGN's list, so whatever.
Yeah.
Number 1, Legend of Zelda, sure. Number 2, Smash Ultimate, sure. Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's very beloved. But anyway, that was my point. It's going to be a solely single player experience. It better either be just fucking 200 hours long or whatever, like some crazy ass JRPG, or be on that tier, because those games are $60. And then there's also games on other platforms that are $60 that have that level of single player experience, and also online multiplayer, and also co-op experiences, and also like other shit. Like, so it's like, really, just some random single player 9-hour campaign is gonna be $60? Okay.
I think it's on that tier. Man, because
it's not though, because like Zelda and Mario are long games. Well, they're not 9 hours.
I think this is worth a $60 game. I think it is. as engrossing as those other titles are, even if there's less content, because, yeah, if I hadn't started a new job technically this week, I think I would have just blown off work to binge through this game. It is phenomenally addicting just running through this game, killing aliens, and getting power-ups, finding out and plotting out more of the map. It's great. It's a great formula. Also, I don't think either of you have played Metroid games, and I know Super Smash Bros. Kind of makes it seem like Samus is just eye candy. Like, maybe a little problematic, maybe like a poorly done female video game character. She's kind of a baddie in this, and I love that. Samus is fucking cool.
That's not what a baddie is.
No? Fuck. Samus is a badass in this.
Okay.
Okay.
That means something entirely different.
Baddie is a different thing.
Baddie is exactly the thing that you were describing as being problematic with...
Look, dude, she's not just a pretty face with a fat ass and a big attitude. She's a baddie.
She's a fucking baddie.
Yeah, she is. Just murdering giant aliens left and right. Been super chill about it. It's great. I dig it. Although,
is she wearing the suit for most of the game?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, you only see her out of the suit, so far at least, when she dies. When you die.
What happens? Why is she out of her suit when she dies?
Because a giant robot... Well, actually, no. That suit's on when, like, the ME robots sneak up on you and stab you.
I've seen one of the death screens. The suit just, like, blows up and it shows her silhouette, like, of a human as the suit, like, falls apart.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, it's not sexual. It's not gross.
I was gonna say, it seems like it is, but okay, yeah.
No. Yeah. But then, that's actually a good segue into the other big mechanic in this game, which is the ME robots, which are like stalker sections of the game where you can't hurt them until you get a very specific and temporary power-up. So then it's a fun change-up in the rhythm of the game where you are running through different screens, blasting everything in your way, and then faced with an enemy that you can't hurt at all. So then it turns into a stealth game for like 15 minutes at a time, and it just works phenomenally for me. Yeah.
What's the... I've seen zero gameplay whatsoever. What's like the... I don't know, control scheme and stuff like that?
It's like a side-scrolling game, right?
Is it still side-scrolling?
Yeah, it is firmly a classic...
side-scrolling?
It's a Metroidvania. What do you want?
I will say that, like, Hades was a $30 game where you can put, like, 100 hours into.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
It is indie, though. It was an indie game.
Yeah,
So they're greedy, therefore it's, like, totally legit?
No, I'm just saying it's more expected. I'm not saying it's cool.
Super cool that they make it $60. Yeah, I don't know. I that's been my main reason that I can't get into something like Metroid, is because I feel like I'm playing a time machine. What is all this shit? This looks like a game from the 90s.
Metroidvanias don't really work in 3D though.
Sure, change it.
Yeah, they do. Like how many games nowadays are made where they're like, this is a Metroidvania, and it's just like Star Wars, the fucking Jedi Fallen Order, whatever the fuck it's called. That's like definitely a Metroidvania.
Wait, is Ocarina of Time a Metroidvania then? Like, God, video game definitions suck. I guess the last thing I'll say about this is that, this is my first time going to the Metroid side of the Metroidvania genre. I had played it's technically a Castlevania game. It was a spiritual successor. I think Curse of the Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon or something. I I think I like that mechanically a little bit more because that's more melee focused, and in this you really only have a gun and a counter, so it's weird for me shooting and not just running up to monsters and killing them. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, although I will say Castlevania games have a little more personality to them, are able to be a little more fun, where Metroid Dread, emphasis on the dread, this is a spooky, creepy alien hive planet that you're working your way through. Yeah. Maybe, probably going to be on the lower half of the 2021 top 10s, if I had to guess. But we'll see.
And it totally belongs on the list.
Yeah.
That is a 100%, no doubt about it, 2021 original video game.
Inarguable.
100% belong.
I'm really going to struggle with this year's lists, more so even than usual, because
you refuse to watch Squid Game.
No, hey, I've watched 2 episodes.
That's so slow.
I mean, like, specifically for video games, because I had, like, I think 3 video games that were going to come out this year that I was going to play that got delayed until early next year, like Horizon and Dying Light, and there was one more game that oh no, wait, Battlefield was delayed until November, so that's still going to be this year. But yeah, still, it's going to be tough.
I'm gonna have Battlefield 2042. I think that's it.
I'm counting on this, and I think this is finally the year I win. I'm hungry for it.
As it stands right now, I think Resident Evil 8 is my top game of 2021.
That's probably going to make our top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima would be, but that game came out in like 2019.
And we're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima as soon as we jump into the other call.
We don't have to talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Like, that is a 2-year-old game that I'm just kind of playing because I finally got around to it.
All right, then. What are you checking out, Andrew?
Not that. I mean, nothing. I watched one more episode of Squid Game.
What are we doing here?
Well, yeah, but that would go in the group chat, so, like...
So, Ghost of Tsushima got really dark later in the game. Yeah. So, like...
you texted me to tell me they killed Sora just as he got into Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
So that's fucked up.
So, as sad as I was when my horse in Red Dead Redemption died, like, Ryan, you remember that scene. That was pretty fucking brutal. That horse was special to me because it was with me the whole game, and because it was, like, the second horse that I got. And I got it before you were really supposed to, like, get other horses. So, like, yeah, it made it with me through the whole game, and then it died, and it was really sad. In Ghost of Tsushima, there's a part early in the game where you have to steal a horse so that you have a horse. And it says, choose your horse. There's a brown one, a black one, and a white one. And then you name the horse, and it gives you 3 choices, and it changes the voice acting throughout the game, depending on what you choose. And it says, choose wisely. This horse will be with you for your entire journey. There's a part, I'm guessing about 2/3 of the way through the game, because it's the end of the second act, where you kind of go after the Mongol stronghold. They, like, took over your uncle's castle, and you and your uncle and your army go after it. And you realize your uncle's just leading more and more of your, like, soldiers to die because he's just throwing waves of bodies at the Mongols. So you're like, fuck this, I'm doing it my way. You go in and you poison their food, all the Mongols' food, so that they die just vomiting up blood. And then your uncle walks in and is like, oh, fuck. This is not okay. And arrests you for war crimes. And then you escape so that you can go kill the Khan, and you ride out there on your horse, and your uncle's like soldiers shoot at you with arrows and shoot your horse full of arrows, but he still like runs you like 20 miles. Aww. And then he just bleeds out and dies. And then you bury your horse. And right before that happened, the Mongol leader captured your friend and cut off his head in front of you. And then, yeah, that was not cool.
Damn.
Hardcore. So where is the main character at narratively now? Because it doesn't seem like he's on his uncle's side anymore.
No, he's banished.
Okay.
He's a wanted man. He's being hunted by his uncle while still hunting the Khan.
So, like, are you fighting other samurai now too?
I have not come across that yet. For a while, like I couldn't so there's 3 stages of the map, one for each chapter of the game, but when you move into the next chapter, you can still go into the old, like the other parts of the map. For the first couple of hours of chapter 3, you can't go to the other parts of the map. You're prevented. And I think that was the mechanic of like, you can't go there, you're being hunted. I don't think they're going to just send samurai after you, although that'd be kind of cool. So.
Fair. Glad you are still enjoying that by the sound of it. Ah. Ryan, what are you checking out?
Fuck, what have I been watching? I caught up on Impeachment, American Crime Story.
Okay.
We're to a very interesting part where Monica Lewinsky was finally approached by FBI agents because Linda Tripp like flipped on her and got her to, like had the hidden microphone. And that bit I actually did know about from SNL and everything like that.
Oh.
So yeah, then the whole 6th episode is just her with Colin Hanks playing an FBI agent as he tries to like flip her to become a government witness against Bill Clinton, and she's like refusing and everything like that. And yeah, it's getting pretty wild. Impeachment stuff's about to happen.
Just out of curiosity, do you think that character would be better if instead it were Chet Hanks in the role?
No, because he's kind of like the softy FBI agent. Like there's a bad cop too who's just like screams and gets really mad. So he's like the good guy cop who like, I don't know. Eventually she kind of goes like, I want to call my mother, and then her mother says, don't do anything until I get there. And her mother's in New York and she's in DC and she has to take the train because she doesn't like to fly. So she's just like, yeah, it'll be like 5 hours. So then they're just like hanging out, the FBI agents and Monica Lewinsky in a hotel room, just like, yeah, all right, let's watch some TV. And then like she's like, do we have to stay here? And they're like, guess not. So they just start like walking around the mall that they're in, like go into Crate and Barrel, and then they like go to a restaurant, and yeah, Colin Hanks is just like chowing down on his burger, just like, and she's like, why am I facing 28 years? And he's like, oh, 5 years for filing a false affidavit, 5 years for aiding and abetting a conspiracy, like just like breaking down her charge while he's just like noshing on this burger, just like totally chill. So yeah, it's a fun little episode in the midst of like all this intrigue.
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like, and then the FBI like cornered a scared young woman to try to really get her to flip on the president because they've been trying to nail him for a different separate scandal for years. So
what was the separate scandal?
I think was it Blackwater? Or Whitewater? I think it might be Whitewater scandal.
Blackwater is the PMC group.
Yeah, Whitewater controversy. The Whitewater controversy, Simply Whitewater, was an American political controversy during the 90s. Began with an investigation into the real estate investments of Bill and Hillary Clinton in the Whitewater Development Corporation. It was a failed business venture with the purpose of developing vacation properties. And yeah, they did a bunch of shady shit to, silence witnesses and everything like that. So, yeah. No, the Clintons are great people.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about. So, yeah. Then that all led into the, what's it called? The lawsuit. I don't remember what the first... how have I forgot that woman's name? That's terrible. It's the original woman who kind of came forward. Paula Jones. There you go. Came forward and said, like, yeah, he was being very inappropriate and everything like that. And then, yeah, that's what led to Lewinsky and, yeah, bam, bam, bam. The triple threat. So, yeah.
Cool.
It's getting to an interesting part. But that's 6 episodes in. They only got 4 left, so I'm curious how they're going to wrap it up so quickly, because it feels like, what about like the trials and everything like that? How's that all gonna come to a head that quickly? But we'll find out. Otherwise, I finished Ted Lasso.
Oh,
that was a good season 2. I enjoy that show a lot. I like a lot of the characters, but yeah, this season definitely had a lot less of like an antagonist, and that kind of, I think, suffered for it a little bit. But next season, we've got a firm antagonist all set up and ready to go, so we're going to see how that works.
So, if I understand correctly, in this latest season of Ted Lasso, Ted Lasso's mental health is a big subject. Does that work for a character that was originally an advertisement for insurance, I think?
No, it wasn't. It was for the Premier League.
It was for the Premier League.
Being on Universal.
Yeah.
Being on NBC, basically.
Does that work?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so. Yeah, like, they break it down, basically, that his genuinely, like, jovial and happy-go-lucky nature is, yeah, like a trauma response. Like, actually, like, generated from, like, some really, terrible things in his life that taught him to behave a certain way and everything like that. So I think so. I mean, yeah, characters are originally created for other uses all the time. And I think at this point, yeah, that's the whole point, is that they kind of go into more depth about it. Like, the original joke was that Coach Beard was like a faceless straight man who said nothing unless, like, Ted Lasso said something stupid and he could correct him. And that was in, the original commercials. So then the joke in the first season of Ted Lasso is that Coach Beard gets up to some shit. Like, like, Coach Beard goes on crazy wild adventures and has lived a remarkably eventful life. That's the joke in season 1. This dude who's, like, genuinely, like, pretty quiet and reserved does crazy shit off screen. And then in season 2, the joke is now we see what he's doing off the screen, like how he goes on those crazy adventures and everything like that. So, yeah, you build on what you've created, and that's what they do. And I'm excited for season 3. So,
fair enough.
And otherwise, Succession is in approximately 3 hours.
Ooh,
and that's gonna be my life. I gotta watch some recap videos.
Where did Succession leave off?
Are you genuinely never going to watch it? Because
it hits too close to home, man. Every time they do a thing that's like, here's how we're going to be awful in the news and digital media sphere,
that's not ever brought up.
Really?
It's literally like one storyline through the entire first 2 seasons that I can remember actually dive into, like, the day-to-day operation of like the quote-unquote Fox News. Like, yeah, pretty much the entire show is just Game of Thrones, but corporate and way funnier.
All right.
So I genuinely think it's like some of the best TV out there right now, and it'd be potentially a bit of a disservice to just be like, and here's a bunch of spoilers. But
fair enough. I guess the only other mini shout out I have is that I am reading through a translation of the first book that in part inspired the Persona series of video games. doing this as research for an article I'm working on. The Persona games for a long time now have had less than great politics. Reading through the book, you kind of see why that's the case. You kind of see how a company, a culture developed around adapting this particular set of books into a video game, and how even decades after that, they're still not great to women or like marginalized people, or they're no longer, the games don't express an outright conservative Randian view of the world like the books do, but they are they are firmly, if not on the fence about some of this stuff, at best neoliberal. So yeah. And like I don't think Atlas, the company that made the games, is ever going to escape that if this is where they came from. So it's interesting. That'll be an interesting article.
Damn, son.
Yeah. And then that will take us into the group chat. We talking about the Packers, or are we talking about the Squid Game?
There's not much Squid Game to talk about.
Well, what'd you think of episode 2, Andrew?
Good.
Why?
Good.
Why?
I really honestly liked the storytelling of like these people going through their fucked up lives and dealing with just the oppressive amount of debt that they have and the things that they do because of it. More so than kind of the fucked up secret society children's game shit going on in the background. One thing I will say, that detective looks like he's 19 years old. Like I saw him like until they said I forget his name, I'm a police officer. I'm like, oh, he was just like a teenager in there to like get his friend out of the drunk tank.
I did. Yes, I also had that confusion when he first appeared in the series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a little bit. How does the second episode end, Andrew?
Everyone goes back to the Squid Game. They vote themselves out. They're like, we don't want to fucking die. And then they get back, like, this is pretty bad. And then
I think they lost like 14 people, right, or something like that, or maybe that's a spoiler for episode 3.
Yeah, must have been.
It's immediately like they're just like, there was 200 people, or no, there was was it 150 people? How many?
There were 201 people that survived the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're just like, almost everyone came back. There's 186 of us. Like, it's like a quick throwaway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like almost everyone comes right back because they're like, yeah, wait, this sucks.
If the themes of this show were not presenting themselves immediately, here you go again.
Yeah, I honestly kind of expected the third episode to open up with like, there's 197 of you guys. One person committed suicide and 3 people were killed by the mob. Like, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going, man. Keep going. You're like a quarter of the way into it already. You can push on.
Oh my god. The guy who plays Hwang Jun-ho, the police officer, has 800 followers on Instagram.
That's it?
Still?
Yeah. Assuming it's the right Donald Chang. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's not the right one. Never mind. Maybe he just doesn't have a social media presence.
Oh, that's fair. I do know that social media is a whole different beast in East Asia than what it is here.
Right.
Not better, not worse, but different.
Yeah.
Fair.
Different and scary. All right. Yeah, man, keep going on Squid Game. Like, there's so much I want to talk about, but I'm far enough removed from it at this point where I'm like, is this going to be a spoiler? Like, I don't want to do that too. Yeah.
It will be.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the Packer game was solid.
A rough first quarter, but brought it around.
Yeah. Team got it done. Decimated by injuries.
Oh my god.
Can't believe our defense is performing as well as it is, even against like a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, goddamn, we're out our top 2 corners, our top safety. Kenny Clark got banged up at one point.
Our top edge rusher.
We already were out our top edge rusher. Our center got banged up at one point.
And he was out the whole game. It was like,
oh, did he leave the whole game?
Yeah, it was like the second play of the game he went out.
Lucas Patrick came in for the rest of the game. Yeah, so we were down to again our 3rd string center. And was Elton Jenkins playing?
He did. He played
right?
left tackle.
Okay, yeah.
So that was his first game back.
That's interesting that we didn't slide around a little.
I know.
More
I kind of thought we'd put him at
Yash.
center and put Yash back at left tackle.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Yash was fine,
yeah,
honestly.
it was like really solid, especially for a 3rd stringer at left tackle. One of the hardest positions to play in football.
Elton Jenkins is just really not that good at left tackle. Like, he is a probably slightly below average left tackle. So, I feel like it's kind of we're missing out on a lot of potential by having him there.
Are the mistakes that Fields made in this game going to get ironed out once he has more experience playing at this level, or is he?
I think they will. He needs.
That's the $100 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. You can ask that for any young quarterback who makes mistakes because they do all make mistakes. But like the Bears have a fucking awful banged up offensive line, and yeah, Justin Fields. This is like his 3rd start.
That's fair. And you know what? I can't even put myself in his shoes, period. But hey, I think this is a free play. I'm just going to chuck it to a Packers player in the end zone. That's fine.
Oh, it wasn't a free play? Shit.
That was just odd to me. Like
some miscommunication with Allen Robinson on that one. That wasn't a decision. That was Allen Robinson just stopped running, and then he... It made it look like he was throwing it exclusively to a Packers player.
Right.
So the thing is before the NFL draft, I was very, very high on Justin Fields. But like part of what makes a quarterback prospect successful is where you end up and how they treat you once you get there. And the Chicago Bears are not like the best place for developing a quarterback, as you can see by the like 500 quarterbacks that they've started in like the last 10 years. But, you know, at least he didn't go to the fucking Jags. So like could the Bears ruin Justin Fields? Absolutely they could. I think he is a good quarterback to his, like at the core with a lot of athletic ability and a smart player. So
have you ever read his draft profile? Like on scouting websites and stuff?
Yeah, I can't remember it right now, but...
Have you ever compared it to Mitch Trubisky's draft profile?
I mean, when you look at draft profiles, when they like compare them to existing players, it's so funny because like...
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying compare them to existing players. I'm saying the words they're using, the adjectives, the general, like, here's his strengths, here's his weaknesses, like... Mobile quarterback with a very accurate arm. Sometimes struggles to move past his first read. Like, just like...
Isn't that like most
yes, he seems like a
quarterbacks, though, coming out of college?
No. What's an athletic quarterback? Like, I don't know. Black quarterback? Josh Allen's a remarkably athletic quarterback. His main drawback was that was a fucking wild man who could never put the ball in the right spot, but was 6'5", could run really fast, and had the biggest arm like ever seen on a prospect. Like, I don't know. It seems like a type of, yeah, you know, he can move you down the field probably, be a highly effective, efficient passer who can also run with the ball in his hands. But, you know, if you're going to want him to actually survey the field and, like, make a lot of reads and be decisive, he might struggle. That's going to have to be developed. And, yeah, I don't know if the Bears are capable of developing that in him.
As much flack as Matt Nagy got for, like, absolutely refusing to entertain the possibility of a quarterback competition throughout training camp and early in the season, I think that was honestly him being like, we are playing a lot of really tough defenses early in the season. I don't want to shove Justin Fields out there to fight off the Wolves in his first couple of starts.
But then you got to tank. You're not going to make the playoffs then if that's your strategy. If you're going to say, no, I'm going to bench the better player just because I don't want to, like, hurt his confidence, then tank. Lose every game on purpose, get the first overall pick. Like, there's no point in competing. Like, that's sports, you know? You put the best players on the field to win the game. And if you're not trying to do that, then what are you doing here, you know? Like, tank, you'll get fired. Some coach will come in with a good draft pick and maybe some young pieces and can maybe actually put together a successful team. Like, I never got that. I understand when people say that's his reasoning, but I'm like, if it is, then yeah, he deserves to be fired because he's on the hot seat right now. He's trying to win right now. So I don't know what any of that meaning is. But yeah. There you go. Fuck Matt Nagy, fuck the Bears.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Fuck Akeem Hicks. I hope that Justin Fields is not good at football, and we just get to continue to roll over the Bears for decades to come.
Ryan told me earlier, but what is our overall record with the Bears?
Overall, I think it's like 102 to 96 now or something. Like we're a few games above them now. We've put up a bit of a buffer because we've dominated so badly.
Before Brett Favre came in, it was like a 30 game deficit that the Packers had against the Bears.
Yeah, in high school we used to have these debates because there were a few Bears fans in my high school where we would be like, oh, you know, who's the better team, the Packers or the Bears, like over the course of history and everything. And it's like, to anyone who's a neutral fan, I imagine it's the Packers. No brainer. Like if you're saying the entire history, the Bears were also primarily good in the early ages of football. Like, so if you're going to count those, then you better count our like dozen championships in the 50s and 60s. Like, yeah. So therefore we've won a lot more games overall. We've won a lot more championships. We've won a lot more Super Bowls, but then they would be like, but in head to head, the Bears have more wins than the Packers. And then I remember it starting to get real close. And it was, we when we ended up actually closing the gap, it was in college. So I wasn't able to just like rub it in their face. But it was like the only argument they had left was like, but we've beaten the Packers more than they've beaten us. So therefore, the Bears are better than the Packers. And now it's like they don't even have that. Like, and Aaron Rodgers is 22-5. Like against them, like he just destroys them. It's unfair.
So. One of those games I remember was 2018, the last game of the season, where we were already eliminated from playoff contention. Who fucking cares?
No. There you go. 102. The Packers have 102 wins. The Bears have 95, and they have tied 6 times. In 203 meetings.
I keep forgetting that's a thing that can happen in football.
Yeah, it's rare.
It happened a lot more often because there used to not be overtime.
Huh.
Back in, I think overtime was in like the 90s is when they brought it in.
Really?
Anything pre-90s was just, tie unless it was a playoff game.
Fair.
Like they'd just be like, fuck it. Who cares? We'll tie. It's a regular season. Whatever. But yeah, now it's obviously remarkably rare with the sudden death rule.
Yeah.
Unless you're Doug Peterson and you just kneel down in
play
overtime.
For the tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, though I don't think there's much to say about this Packers-Bears game. fairly injury prone. Like, got a little ugly in that regard, but no, firm Packers win once we got everything together. So, yeah, it was great. Love to see it.
Yeah.
And we hope you all loved listening to episode 161 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast, which will almost certainly be titled Fortnite, Fortnite, Fortnite. As soon as I do a quick F5 to make sure we haven't done that already. If you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for highlight clips. ActBlue link in the description if you want to help a collection of great progressive causes. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon and join the likes of the terrific Tiffany Cole, Sucky Badger, and sensual Richard Nixon. You can also support us directly through the Anchor podcast platform. Send us your questions and business opportunities, voluntaryviewing@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter for updates at V2_podcast, and follow me at LucasDeRider on Twitter to keep up with all of my writing. Thank you all again so much for listening. Good luck heading into the week.